What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So I'm down here in New Braunfels, Texas, and I'm not too far from where I got to deliver my load at. Anyway, I stopped down here at the TA, and I've got something going on with my clutch, more specifically my clutch brake. And I had this happen a couple of 2-3 years back. It's right after I got this truck. Must have been about 3 years ago. Anyway, it's been a couple of 100,000 miles, and but this time's a little different. Last time the teeth ripped off of the inside of the clutch brake, but I could still feel the clutch brake when you mash the clutch pedal down. This time it feels like the clutch brake has come unhinged. It's a quick change clutch brake. I'll show you when I get a new one, and we'll see about getting it installed. I did a video on doing the last one, and if you want to go check that out or whatever, maybe a little more detail on it. But I thought that whenever the last one broke, that it may have been my fault, because I remember taking off on a hill, and I thought maybe that when I put it in gear, mash the clutch all the way down and engage the clutch brake, put it in gear, then maybe I let my foot off the brake a little bit, not thinking, and let it roll, and that'll rip the teeth off of those things. But anyway, I'm not sure what happened with this one. Well, I have an idea. I'll show you here. All right, so when you mash your clutch pedal down all the way to the floor, it's supposed to engage the clutch brake. Well, about, I don't know, right about there, almost to the floor is where the clutch pedal normally stops. Now the clutch pedal is going all the way down, like there's no clutch brake even there. So I'm thinking that it may have come unhinged, and it's probably laying inside of the bell housing of the transmission. But for whatever reason, this truck has got a new clutch put in it, supposedly, and the clutch feels fine and everything the way it operates, except for, even with the clutch pedal pressed down with no clutch brake, the input shaft on the transmission should stop spinning eventually, and it does not. You can hear it still grinding. Well, I guess eventually it did then. But for the most part, you just have to snatch it in gear when it happens, because it does not seem like it wants to spin down. Most big trucks that I've been in, whenever you mash the clutch all the way to the floor, even if the clutch brake is bad, it will eventually spin down and go into gear. This one's trying to do it a little bit. Yeah, that'll work. But anyway, it's like the clutch disc is dragging on the input shaft. In other words, it's not freely sliding back and forth on the input. So when the pressure plate releases the clutch disc, it's still dragging on the pressure plate, because there's friction on the input shaft that's not sliding. Either that or the pilot bearing is got some friction, and it's not wanting to spin down. And so what I was having to do is, it wouldn't spin down, and I was just having to snatch it in gear, which is not really great. But it's trying to spin down now a little bit. Not really. See, I got the clutch pedal mashed all the way down over here. I don't know if the camera's picking the sound up or not. So there may be something going on with that clutch not fully releasing, because it's still spinning there. I still got my clutch mashed down, as you see. You can still hear it. So I'm just having to push it in gear. So until I get another clutch brake, that's aggravating. But anyway, we're gonna get this load off of here and go back home, and then we'll work on the truck, I guess. Alright guys, this is the new quick change clutch brake we got here. As you see, it's got tangs inside of here. That's what can shear off. The OEM clutch brakes are not split like this. See, this is a hinged split brake quick change. That's the reason I call it a quick change, because it's hinged, and it just has a little snap right here. You unsnap it, and it snaps around your input shaft, and those tangs go into the grooves on the input shaft. I think what has happened is it's come undone here and actually fell off of the input shaft. The OEM style, you know, as I say, is not split. It's just a round disc, and you actually have to pull the transmission out on those kind to change them. Now, if you want to go replace one of those with this, you can potentially access it depending on your truck and cut it out with a torch, or I think they make some tools and stuff that you can twist it out, break it out, whatever you got to do to get one of these in there. I don't have a real good method, but I'm sure there's some videos and whatnot on that. But anyway, Napa stocks these, and so I picked one up. We're going to get up under there and see if we can figure out what happened. Hopefully this won't take too long. I'll try to film what I can, but it will be dark and nasty and greasy up in there, so I don't know how much of this I'll be able to get on video. But I did do another video on this about 3 years ago, I think, or pretty close to it, when I put the last one of these in there. Well, it's just as I suspected up in there. The clutch brake is no longer in the input shaft. I can kind of see the edge of it right down in there, wedged in there. I don't know if it's, I'm guessing it's broke as the reason it fell off. But that's where the new clutch brake will go, is that gap right there where you see the splines as I showed you. It's just kind of hard to get in there. Because you don't have a whole lot of room to be able to get it in there. I think last time I used some screwdrivers and pry bars, was able to get it wrapped around there with my hand, and you can barely get your hand in this access hole right here. It's just a little dust cover. You access this area to adjust your clutch and whatnot. But anyway, you can barely get your hand in there. It snaps around that shaft, it snaps together, but evidently the snap broke and it just fell off. So I'm not going to be able to stick my hand in there and record. You won't be able to see. But, I mean, you could probably drive this thing like this for hundreds of thousands of miles, you know, with no clutch brake, and get by with it. But it's kind of a pain. You grind the gears in the transmission every time. Say you're at a shipper receiver and you're waiting in line. You know, you pull up a truck length or two, or at the fuel aisle, you pull up a truck length or two, and you wait 5 or 10 minutes. You pull up a truck length or two. Every time you do that, you're having to grind in a gear. Now, if you're just stopping at a red light or something, you can catch your next gear that you're going to start off in before you come to a stop, and it's not a big deal. But as I say, it's aggravating to me because I don't like to hear it grind, and it's not good for the transmission. So I'm going to try to stick something in there and see if I can fish that one out and take a look at it, and then we'll see about getting the other one in there. All right, guys, I'm having to pull the clutch actuator, hydraulic actuator here off. It bolts on the bottom of the transmission housing here. There's 4 bolts here. I'll pull it off, and then I'll be able to get up in there and get to that thing a little better and be able to get it out, because I took a pry bar and thought I could fish it out, but I didn't. I just wound up pushing it further in there. So let me get these bolts out. We'll drop this down out of the way. Hope we can get right to it. All right, guys, and there's our clutch brake. Right there, wedged in there. Alright. So get this out of here and we'll take a look at it and see what failed. Alright, so let's see if it snaps together. See what the deal is there. Sure is dirty and nasty. Oh, it's like it just come apart. If I can get it to unsnap again. I may have to put this phone down. I'm getting grease all over my stuff. Guys, I don't see anything wrong with this old one. This little tab right here, right there, my thumb, is what locks into right here. I don't know if the phone will pick it up, but there's a groove right here on, turn right, maybe you can see it. Right in behind these 2 tabs right here in the middle, that's where that thing latches at right there. And so it latched together, and then to get it apart, you just pull up on this little tab right here. And so the thing just come off and fell off. So I'm not sure why. I don't know if I ought to stick it back on there and try it again. or to put the new one on there. I mean, it's spring loaded, they're supposed to be. Plenty of grease on it, that's for sure. And so it's supposed to be spring loaded right there, and that holds it closed, but it snaps together. I think it may got bent just a touch or something, but it snaps together like it's supposed to, other than the fact it's bent a little bit because it got wedged in behind that clutch fork. See, that appears to be going down and latching like it's supposed to. And then you take something and put right there and pull up on it to get it to release. Alright guys, she's back up in there. All I got to do is put the inspection cover back on there now. You got to make sure that this fork right here on your clutch assembly is up in behind the throwout bearing there on both sides, and so that when you mash that clutch, that fork will pull that throwout bearing back to your clutch brake right there, and that's what stops the input shaft. You see the mark on that clutch brake. What I did is I held the other side of it with a pry bar, and I took an air hammer and hit this side because that thing was a little bent and didn't want to go together like it's supposed to. The new ones are just snapped together, but since I used that old one, you see how I had to beat on it over there on the old bush hog. I just used the air hammer and bumped it together because there's no way to get up in here with a hammer or nothing to tap it. So anyway, that's what I did. I got it snapped back together. I'll put the cover back on here. We'll go ahead and grease the throwout bearing there. Go ahead and grease the truck while I got it in here and up under it and everything, and we should be good to go. Alright guys, so that seemed to fix the problem. I was sure thinking that maybe it had something to do with because this thing wouldn't stop turning even when you had the foot mashed all the way down on the clutch. It never would completely spin down. It would, you know, it was still trying to grind. But anyway, maybe the thing just come undone. Maybe being how it's a quick release, maybe it's quick to fall off too. And see, the clutch pedal, I don't know if you'll be able to pick this up in video. The clutch pedal does not go down as far as it did. And I can feel that in my foot, and I could tell that it felt like the thing had fell completely off. But anyway, now mash it down, clutch brake, touch the gear, it won't go in. You can ease off the clutch just a little bit and it popped in gear. That's the way it should be. I don't know if I can get this pan back. Clutch brake, ease off the clutch, it goes into gear. That's reverse. And then you don't have to mash it all the way back to the floor if you just want to go to first, you know, like that. So the only time you use that clutch brake is, you know, when you're in neutral like that and you're getting ready to go, move the truck, mash down, stops the input shaft, in gear, and ready to go. So anyway, it seems to be fixed, so hopefully that will be good. I'm going to finish greasing this thing, and they're probably going to go ahead and wash it.